When I was a kid, my dad purchased an older 12-unit, purpose-built brick apartment building in upstate New York. For context, we live in Ontario, Canada, so just on the other side of the border. I helped my dad for years with that building, and in hindsight, we had it all wrong. There are a few main factors that everyone is looking for with every real estate purchase. Those include cash flow, appreciation, tax savings, leverage, and the one that's often overlooked is the story. Every landlord and investor has incredible stories. Because of the countless mistakes we made, this property only paid off in stories. And did it ever? By the way, my name is Mark. I have nothing to sell you. We're just trying to get our brand out there and help a few people with financial freedom along the way. First off, multifamily properties are generally split into two categories. Residential, 1 to 4 units, and commercial, 5 units and above. This property we're talking about is technically commercial at 12 units, but because of our lack of experience with property management back then, we ran it more like a residential multifamily. Simply put, we did absolutely everything ourselves. I know several multifamily investors that own a nice portfolio of duplexes, triplexes, and quads that are well managed and strong performers. I still own some myself, and the future looks bright. However, with residential multifamily properties, you have to be much more hands-on with everything. There's often not enough cash flow to warrant professional property management, and sometimes your portfolio is spread out over a larger geographic region. So if you're handy and you own a toilet snake and an F-150, you can do really well in your local area. But just be careful, some provinces and states don't have very landlord-friendly laws to support you. And if you're buying these properties outside of your local area, you have to absolutely smash it on the purchase so there's enough cash flow for management. So totally doable, but not easy. Now I want to leave you with a few choice stories from that 12-unit building in upstate New York, just to give you something to think about. So I was 14 years old and I was vacuuming the hallways and stairwells as I did every Saturday afternoon for my dad, when a group of 5 heavily armed SWAT team members came up behind me, covered head to toe in black armor. I almost shit my pants. As they walked by me, the lead simply put up one finger, and I stood there with my vacuum running while they kicked in the door of an apartment right above me, arresting our tenants with no shots fired. Then it was the time my dad and I went in to clean and make ready one of the units when we noticed that the previous tenant had taken a blowtorch and burned a satanic pentagram into the beautiful narrow stave hardwood flooring. Our tenant screening process wasn't super solid back then. One month we noticed both our gas and water bill were up by about $700. Upon inspection, we found a bathtub with a valve failure and a wool sock duct taped over the spout so it wouldn't keep the tenant up at night. However, the worst story is almost unbelievable, and I would say is very rare in residential multifamily. So my dad came home from his retirement dinner. He was a vice principal, and put on the news to check the weather because he was planning on going to the apartments the next day. There on the news, he saw the local fire department rescuing his tenants from the first floor of the building by boat. The building was situated right at the mouth of 2 rivers that was adjacent to the parking lot. This would be a lovely picturesque spot any day of the year, except for when they have a 50 to 100 year flash flood. The basement was completely destroyed, as well as up about 18 inches on the first floor, which also included a JCPenney's outlet and an audiologist. My dad and 2 laborers spent the next 6 months wheelbarrowing mud and debris out of the basement and rebuilding everything from the studs out. There was no flood insurance, and failure was not an option. I have several other stories, but we'll save those for another video. I just want you to have an idea of the amount of work involved with residential multifamily. Someone has to do that work, and if your property's not cash flowing like a freight train, that person is you. Do me a favor, if you understand the amount of work I'm talking about, put F-150, that's F-150, the iconic pickup truck, in the comments below. If you understand what I'm talking about, F-150 in the comments. If this helps you, hit the follow button and share it with someone who's thinking about buying an F-150. See you on the next one, where we'll take a look at some single family real estate.